But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit scared. I'm really favoring my hip. I think I mentioned I have severe hip arthritis. Fit the bill, but the biggest thing for me is I will not travel with anybody who snores ever again. Good morning, I'm Shaunalee. Welcome back to my channel, my Steady Limp to Retirement channel. Today I'm out for my morning walk. I wanted to test out my external audio today because I understand that you can do that on the X5. So I'm using the Hollyland Lark audio with a little wind muff. It is a little bit windy today. From my understanding, the little clip on the side of the camera can be noticeable in the footage, so we'll check that out. But it was a little bit windy today, so I wanted to make sure that the audio was good. And today I'm gonna, take you on my bit of my walk today. It's a little chilly this morning for August the 22nd. And, we're getting closer to that fall time, crazy. I wanted to get up early and get on my walk for my practice run. I walk every day to get ready. I'm going to the Camino. I think I mentioned before. I'm going to hike with my girlfriend in Italy. We started the Camino. Well, she started the Via Francigena 2 years ago. I can never say that word, Via Francigena, 2 years ago. She did half. I ended up meeting her I flew there to meet her I flew to Paris first, and then I took the train to Dijon. And then I wasn't far from Dijon to meet her. And we walked for another 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. And then we flew back home. We actually ended the walk in Lausanne. And she has left to go back to Lausanne today. And she will be there for the 3 weeks prior to me getting there. And then I'm going to fly to Milan and meet her wherever she happens to be on the trail. And then I'll continue on to go as far as we can. I think I have 3 weeks vacation, so I'm going to really enjoy that. I'm looking forward to it. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit scared. I'm really favoring my hip. I think I mentioned I have severe hip arthritis, and I want to make sure that my hip is not getting too stressed. I have a few different walking styles that I use, and I'm going to be incorporating them in my walk while I do that. But you know what? I wanted to talk a little bit about why people do the Camino and why I'm doing the Camino. So a lot of people do it for maybe they have maybe a spiritual reason, or they do it because, they heard about it and they thought that it would be a good thing. They maybe do it to go and have some clarity. Maybe they feel that the solitude will give them some clarity. To be honest with you, I do it just because I like to walk and hang out with my girlfriend, because it's the only time we ever get to kind of spend any time together. And we get to catch up and do everything for 3 weeks together. We spend all of our time massively in 3 weeks, and we don't have to talk to each other for another year almost. You get everything caught up, you chat, you get all your frustrations out from whatever you're doing at the time in your life, and then you go home and you're all refreshed. It's just that once you get home, your body's all beat up, and you got to have massages and go to the chiropractor and fix yourself back up again and get some rest in. But that's the reason I'm going. I love hanging out with my friend, and we just have a really good time. And it's really important to find a really good travel partner. Over the years, you've really, at least I have, I've really narrowed it down to who I will travel with, because there has to be certain parameters. There has to be Do we eat the same? Do we have the same schedule? Do we sleep the same? Do we have the same outlook on what a holiday is? Do we both don't mind just doing nothing, or then at the end going somewhere and doing something a little bit more elaborate? And we really do fit the bill. But the biggest thing for me is I will not travel with anybody who snores ever again. I mean, I know when you go to the Camino, you really have no choice if you're staying in the albergues and whatnot. There are a lot of snorers in there. Bring your earplugs. Oh, and the other thing, if you're ever walking the Camino and you have these running shoes, I'm just going to show you right now, where they have the little clips here. Tuck in your shoelaces, because I've seen it when you're walking and those shoelaces get caught on the other foot and you just go face planting into the ground. Like, be careful. Anyway, so I don't want to travel with anybody who snores anymore. Especially if I'm the one bringing that person with me, or if I decided to put myself in that situation. It's just not happening. It's just too aggravating. And we don't snore. We sleep the same if we both want to sleep in. We went to Barcelona for 3 weeks after our first Camino together. And we had walked for 33 days. And then we ended the Camino at the Santiago, the church in Santiago. And we got to see that epic Butafumeiro. I was so excited when we got to see that. Anyway, so once the trip finished, we stayed in Compostela for 4 days, and then we took the direct train to Barcelona and we stayed there for a week. We slept till noon every day because we were so tired. But neither of us felt guilty about it. Like, and generally, like if you were a normal person and you were in Europe and you were traveling, and you'd probably want to make the most of your time, but both of us, we were on the same kind of schedule. So I think it's really important to make sure that you have someone that you can travel well with. The other reason I really want to go is because it's a challenge for me. Like, as I said, I have a severe hip arthritis, and this was something that I wanted for my channel. Some of the things that I want to do and how I'm going to spend my time in retirement. And the Camino was going to be a big part of it. And then when I got that news, I was devastated, and I thought for sure that this part of my journey would be over. But I'm walking pretty good. I'm gonna test it out. I have, as I said, I have four ways of walking that I kind of switched them up so that I could relieve some pressure off certain parts of my hip, and maybe I use different muscles as I walk, and then I won't fatigue everything all at once. And then by the end of the night, I can get into the albergue, have my shower, have something to eat, wash my clothes, and then start resting. So we have decided on this walk that we're gonna walk probably maybe about 10 miles a day. And those 10 miles are gonna be consisting of walking and resting and walking and resting. And maybe that'll take maybe about 4 or 5 hours of walking at the most, I'm hoping. And then you can get to the albergue. You have plenty of time so that you could be resting a good 12 hours is my hope. So hopefully I'm staying pain-free on the trip. I don't take any drugs or anything like that. I won't even be taking anything with me. I'm going to really persevere. And then also we have an agreement that if my hip really acts up, I will just figure out how to get to the next sleeping spot and then rest it a little bit more. And hopefully I could keep it at bay at that time. But so far I'm working really freely. I'm practicing right now with a brace that I use. I don't use it. So this is the brace I was telling you about. So basically it just hooks around here, goes around. You put it like this. The other part comes around here. I'm just putting it on over top of my clothes. I put it underneath my clothes so it's not on top. It doesn't look so funny while I'm walking. But you do that, and you just hook it on, and that's it. And you get like a big warm hug right here. And it goes across here. It's just a nice compression. It really does help. Almost like a sling for my hip. It's like, I'll show you a little bit later, but it's a brace that goes around my midsection, and then it hugs the whole side of my leg here. And that it is really, really effective. Not only that, but I have a little gel heating pad that doubles as a heat or cold pack that you can actually slip inside of this part of the brace. And that's really effective at the end of the night. So you can maybe heat that up in a microwave or quickly put it in the freezer and then use it at nighttime or quickly in the morning to kind of get you going in the morning. So my whole strategy will be to be resting, making sure that I'm not pushing my hip, listening to my body and not saying, okay, let's just do another mile. Let's do another mile. I want to really make sure that I'm not doing that. And I take care to make sure I'm okay. But I'm looking forward to going. I have decided that I'm probably going to be leaving around the middle of September. And I will fly like I said, fly to Milan, meet her wherever she is. And we'll go from there. I like the planes, trains, and automobiles. On one other trip that I went to meet her, we did the Norte part where we walked across. I had to meet my girlfriend in Spain, so I flew to Porto. And then I used this app called Bla Bla Car. I don't know if you've ever used it, but it's fantastic. It's a rideshare program. You pay online. People who have maybe scheduled a trip to go somewhere, want to have a little bit of extra money for the ride, and they want to have a little bit extra money for the ride. And so they farm out their car and they have maybe 1 or 2 seats left and you can hitch a ride with them. And so I've used that service quite a few times. This one service that I used that day, it was hilarious. I got it organized. I had them come pick me up at the airport right after I got off the plane, and they were in a motorhome. They brought they were traveling to Germany, and they got in a huge motorhome. They picked me up at the airport, and they ended up driving me almost all the way where I needed to go until this little town called, it started with an F. I don't even remember. Franken something. Anyway, so I'll put it in the comments if I remember. If I remember, I'll put it in the chat. But they drove me all the way there, and the people that were also traveling with them obviously spoke Spanish and could write Spanish. And I had another ride share ready to go, but they said, no, don't take that ride share. We'll drive you right to here and then we'll get you a bus. So they found out where the bus station was. They organized the ticket for me and dropped me off. And I ended up getting that bus about an hour and a half after they dropped me off. And I got to this little town where my girlfriend was, and it was late at night and it was dark. And I got dropped off. It was way high up in the mountains, I remember. And I got off the bus and I put her address into my GPS, and it led me right to her. And all of a sudden she came walking around the hotel front entrance. And there I was, hey, how's it going? I got to go to bed. We got to get up at 5. So it was a lot of fun, and I do that all the time. But if you ever travel and you want to check out Bla Bla Car, there's an app you can just download and put your information in. And I tell you, that's a fantastic service. I actually used them again when I was on my last Camino on the last Camino in the Via Francigena. When I think I told you last year that I was having some really bad hip problems. So I rented an e-bike so that I could ride and walk and hang out with my girlfriend. Then maybe I could ride up and rest a little bit more, rest my leg, and then she would catch up and then we would keep going that way. And I had to get the bike back to Dion because that's where I rented it from. I found this guy who came to the hotel when I very first picked up the bike. He picked me up at the hotel, picked up the bike, and I drove to my girlfriend because it wasn't that far. And while we used the bike for the couple of weeks, I still had to get it back to Dion. Well, I was already in Lausanne. So I had the gentleman who picked me up originally in France come to Switzerland to pick me up in the morning, took the bike back to Dion, and then I had a Bla Bla Car pick me up and take me back to Lausanne again. So that was really interesting. That was an expensive trip. I think that cab ride ended up costing, I think it was €600. So it is an option, but my Bla Bla Car on the way back, €600 from where I was in Spain, in Switzerland to Dion, €600 on the way back, €33 in Bla Bla Car. So you can definitely save a little bit of money. Anyway, so in closing, I just want to say thank you for watching. I'm going to keep you posted. I would really love to have 50 subscribers so I could go live on my trip. I hope that everything goes well with my hip, and I will keep you posted, and I'll do some lives. I'm hoping to do some lives on the trail while I sort of document the surrounding areas and have chats with my girlfriend. And you know, we're just going to do the Camino differently than everybody else does. So again, I'm Shaunalee. This is my steady limp to retirement. Subscribe if you like. I'm also trying to get to the 4,000 watch hours before February 1st. I'm going to try my best, but you never know. Let's see how it goes. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.